أوكي، بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين، سيدنا وحبيبنا وشفيعنا ونور قلوبنا وقرة أعيننا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. نوينا تعلم وتعليم وتذكر وتذكير والنفع والانفاع والإفادة والاستفادة والحث على التمسك بكتاب الله وسنة رسوله صلى الله عليه وآله وصحبه وسلم، ودعاء إلى الهدى والدلالة على الخير ابتغاء وجه الله ومرضاته وقربه وثوابه سبحانه وتعالى، مع لطف وعافية برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم إنا نسألك علم لدني ومشرب صوفي الهني يا وهاب يا غني. اللهم إنا نسألك علم لدني ومشرب صوفي الهني يا وهاب يا غني. اللهم إنا نسألك علم لدني ومشرب صوفي الهاني يا وهاب يا غني. I'm going to do this now. It's there is for to get openings in fiqh tahawulat, inshallah. For anyone who has the screen, you can share. Okay. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد المأمون على العلم المضمون والفهم المكنون من سر الكاف والنون وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم، وارزقنا اللهم نصيبا وافرا من سر قولك إنما أمره إذا أراد شيئا أن يقول له كن فيكون. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد المأمون على العلم المضمون والفهم المكنون من سر الكاف والنون وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم، وارزقنا اللهم نصيبا وافرا من سر قولك إنما أمره إذا أراد شيئا أن يقول له كن فيكون. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد المأمون على العلم المضمون والفهم المكنون من سر الكاف والنون وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم، وارزقنا اللهم نصيبا وافرا من سر قولك إنما أمره إذا أراد شيئا أن يقول له كن فيكون. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد المأمون على العلم المضمون والفهم المكنون من سر الكاف والنون وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم، وارزقنا اللهم نصيبا وافرا من سر قولك إنما أمره إذا أراد شيئا أن يقول له كن فيكون. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد المأمون على العلم المضمون والفهم المكنون من سر الكاف والنون وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم، وارزقنا اللهم نصيبا وافرا من سر قولك إنما أمره إذا أراد شيئا أن يقول له كن فيكون. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد المأمون على العلم المضمون والفهم المكنون من سر الكاف والنون وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم، وارزقنا اللهم نصيبا وافرا من سر قولك إنما أمره إذا أراد شيئا أن يقول له كن فيكون. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد المأمون على العلم المضمون والفهم المكنون من سر الكاف والنون وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم، وارزقنا اللهم نصيبا وافرا من سر قولك إنما أمره إذا أراد شيئا أن يقول له كن فيكون في كل لحظة أبدا عدد خلقه ورضا نفسه وزنة عرشه ومداد كلماته. الحمد لله الحمد لله الحمد لله. We're continuing with our class on AnNubdhah Sughra, on the knowledge of fiqh tahawulat, right? Fiqh tahawulat meaning the science of or the understanding of changes right towards the end of time. And this is basically the study of the signs of the end of time, the alamat as-sa'ah or alamat akhir zaman, right? The signs towards the end of time. Right, so mashallah, so nice Arabic and English at the same time. Alhamdulillah. So it is so we're going to continue from this, right? Inshallah. I like it like this. We should do it for all our books on like this. Okay. So now Amira has made everybody else who share screen do this do this every English thing together. It's so much more, it is so useful in this way. So you know exactly where I what I'm reading about, in the Arabic and in the English. The last lesson, right, we were at where? We were going through the qawaid, right, the word qawaid, right? And then we are going down. Okay, so basically, there are a few things in this muqaddimah, right, that needs to be taken note of. Okay, I'm not sure if I explained you all the difference between muqaddimah and muqaddamah in the last lesson. Did I? Did I say something about the word muqaddimah and the word muqaddamah? Because it does matter. It does matter. Did I say anything about this? Did I put some Arabic on all of you? Or did I not? Or did I spare you the Arabic? I spoke about it again now. I spoke about the muqaddimah and the muqaddamah. What did okay, I must have revision. What did I speak about? Oh no, the one who answered yes, eh? So now you must answer. What did I speak about? What is muqaddamah and what is muqaddimah? What's the difference between muqaddamah and muqaddimah? Why did I have to mention it? I was like, what did she say? They go and say yes, right? What was the
Muqaddamah,
difference? What
Muqaddamah is at
uh
the end, the summary of, so after he wrote all the book, then he wrote a summarized version, which is the Muqaddamah, like a synopsis, like a, I don't know, a breach version, is it? A summary of the books.
now correct. And muqaddimah is what?
Muqaddamah is an introduction, right? About the,
Forward. Yes, correct.
yeah,
Well
for
done. Full marks, inshallah. Right. So the muqaddimah is the revision. And the muqaddimah, right, is something you write before you write a book. You actually write a muqaddimah. It's called a forward. Right, it's a forward in English, right? A forward. Right. That is called a muqaddimah. Like a muqaddimah is after you have written the entire book, for example, or you have done your entire works. Then you write an intro to the work after you know what you have written already. And that makes a lot of difference. Writing something before you actually write a work, and writing something after you have written what you want to write, and you write it. Right. So basically, the muqaddimah of AnNubdhah is a muqaddimah, but the nubdhah itself, the entire of the nubdhah itself, is a muqaddamah. Right? Meaning that it was one of the last books that Habib Mashhur wrote about this topic. Right. So in fact, the last book that you will study, right, in this series of books, that was the first book that he wrote. Like, he wrote the Usus wal Mutalaqat, that is the first book that he wrote, right? And then this very small thin book that we're taking right now, Nubdhah al-Sughra, it's a muqaddamah because it was written after the entire knowledge was kind of like structured by Habib Abu Bakr, right? And then he wrote this one. Okay, and that makes a lot of difference because, right, we know that what he's giving us, right, he's giving us the qawaid, right, he's giving us principles, right, he's giving us principles on which every single chapter, right, in this book An-Nubdhah, right, you will have a full explanation of it, right, and a full, like immersion of diving into the entire subject in the other books, right, in the books to come. So which is why this book is the most important book. Like, it is the most important book, the Nubdhah. And this is why also when we study here in the diploma degree program, that they will spend time on it, right? Because you must understand every single chapter, right, in this book if you want to be able to understand the other books, right? If you want to be able to understand other books, you must understand this book firmly, right? Because as I go through the other books, inshallah, in the future, as we go along in these lessons, right, I will be referring to what you already know, like in these books. Okay, and so that is basically the importance of it, lah. The importance of it. Okay, let me just go through. So I have numbered, right, several different things in the muqaddimah, like in the introduction or in the forward, and I want you all to number it together with me, okay? Because as I number them, these are going to be the key points, right, important things, right, in our study of the knowledge of the end of time. It's a very new knowledge. That's why I'm teaching in this manner, right? In a very I hope in a very formal manner. Right? So it's not like something you put by the side and you, like, you just hear it by the way, kind of thing. No, I mean, not that kind of classes. Okay, I know that those are classes whereby you put it by the side and you just do some other stuff while you're listening in. Right? This is more like, it's a very very, you say it's very formal, very strict study. It is study. It is study. You actually sit down and you actually try and internalize, what is this? And those of you who have not gotten the book yet, please go and get the book. I think you can. It is available. I'm not so sure where, but I'm sure it's available somewhere. And you can go and get the book. Inshallah, right? The English book, so you can write notes and write notes and understand this firmly. It's not a knowledge that is just like a passing by kind of form of knowledge. No, is something that is studied, is studied strictly, firmly, right? So that you can look around you and understand what is going on around you, and then know the correct prophetic directives, right, as to how do you handle these things that is going on around you. Tamam, let me read from the beginning. Right, so he says here, Alhamdulillah الذي جمع في الكتاب العزيز وسنة نبيه محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم قواعد الدين. There is point number one. Okay, put number one at the word قواعد الدين underline. In English, it will be, so praise be to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who has embedded the fundamentals of the faith. This is the word, the keyword. Fundamentals of the faith, or you can change the word fundamentals to be principles. Okay, because fundamentals, I would say the word, asas or usus, right? But qawaid, right, would be principles, right? The principles of this religion. And that is what this entire science is about, right? Because you're not going to go, Rasulullah did not tell us things, that are like straight up, him saying cell phone, or him saying, the TV, or him saying social media, or him saying, these are words that didn't exist in his zaman, right? But he's going to give us principles, right? And principles, it makes the religion universal. When you have principles, the religion becomes universal. And when you have specifics, like, it becomes very, you get very close, very narrow, right? Just to that particular land in that particular era, like zaman, right? But in Islam, we go on principle. That we go on principle. There are laws in our religion that cannot change with respect to time, or with the passage of time. And these are, we find in our fiqh, in our aqidah, right, in the tasawwuf, in our akhlaq, right, Islam, iman, ihsan. They will never change, right? They will never change with the passage of time, right? 5 prayers every day, it will be 5 prayers every day till the day of judgment, right? Fasting Ramadan will be fasting Ramadan till the day of judgment, right? Zakat will be 2.5%, and no one can change it to the day of judgment, and so on, right? And our aqidah, we must believe in angels, we must believe in the books, we must believe in the prophets. Our aqidah will never change, and even the tiniest bit, to the day of judgment, right? And then akhlaq, what is morally right and what is morally wrong, will always and only be based on what our Prophet ﷺ and what the Quran has informed us of what is morally right and what is morally wrong, right? And that is why akhlaq or ihsan is the first to be attacked, right, towards the end of time, the first to be attacked towards the end of time, because we will move into a zaman, or into a time, or into a world, right, whereby they make right and wrong subjective, right and wrong, and now they have this entire, um what do you call this, like, is it a saying or what? All right, but it's entire what do you call it in English? Right, but basically they call it my truth. What's it called in English? Right, it's like this entire word lah. They will say, it is my truth. Everybody has their truth. No such thing as that, by the way. There's no such thing as, oh, it's my truth. No, truth is truth. Right? Truth is truth. You can't say, no, in my truth, right? Your truth what? Your nafs. That's basically it. Right? Like, your truth what? Right? It's not such thing as my truth. It's not your truth, right? But it's truth. Al-haq, like truth. Right? Only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, al-haq, right? The true Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can say to us, can tell us, and He has full authority to tell us, right, what is right, what is righteousness, and what is wrong, and what is wretchedness. And only Allah has the authority to say that, right? But it's the first thing to go in the end of times, when people begin to try to redefine what is moral, right? What is morally right and what is morally wrong. I will try and redefine everything, right? And that's how Dajjal eventually makes Jannah seem like Nar, right? The fire, and the fire seem like Jannah, because the whole thing is going to be flipped. It's going to be so flipped that it's going to be a very scary end of time, right? But anyway, that was ihsan, ihsan, right? Because you say, Islam, iman, is clear, what, right? Isn't it clear? And then you're surprised that there are people out there who are, contesting the 5 daily prayers, and they are contesting Ramadan, and they are contesting our Aqidah. It has begun. They're really contesting all these things. They're trying to change all these things. You say the first thing to be attacked, right, is Rukun Ihsan, right? Rukun Ihsan under character, right? Under character, under morality. That is the first thing to be attacked. Okay, these are things that are called firm. The thawabit are very firm. They do not change, and they withstand the test of time and place. Right? They are the same wherever you go on this planet. Like Islam, Iman, Ihsan will never change. Right. What will change is the interpretation or the understanding of the hadith, or the words of Rasulullah, right, with regards to the signs of the end of time. Right. So our interpretation of these hadith will change with the passage of time, because with the passage of time, more and more things appear in front of us, and we begin to understand or unwrap the hadith more and more. Okay, and that is why, for us to not go astray, right, or to get a wrong, or to go move into a wrong interpretation, right, we need to be very well founded, very well based, right, very well rooted, right, in the qawaid of our religion, right, in the principles of our religion. This is very important. So you don't actually go into you don't actually fall into the deception of the Dajjal, because you are firmly rooted in the fundamentals or the principles of our religion. Okay, so that's point number one. Okay, so I hope you wrote all of that down, right, on why the first part there is very important. Qawaiduddin, right? Qawaiduddin, right? So that is where we find the secret in the prophetic message. That the secret, right, in his message, right, is that you learn his principles, you learn Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, you learn his rules, right? You learn the asas, right, the fundamentals, right? And then when you try to interpret things, right, you go on that. Okay, we continue. والصلاة والسلام على النبي الخاتم الأمين وعلى آله وأصحابه الميامين وعلى تابعين لهم بإحسان إلى من هذه الأمة رجالا ونساء وكبارا وصغارا إلى يوم الدين. English, like, and peace and blessings. So fundamentals of the faith in the glorious book and the Sunnah of his Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Peace and blessings be upon the final and trustworthy Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, his best family and companions, and those who follow in their footsteps and performance of good deeds of his community, men and women, young and old, till the day of judgment. It's the beginning of the book, as how every scholar would begin their book. They would always begin with a basmala and alhamdulillah and the salawat unto Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Usually the hamdallah and the basmala, usually the basmala is standard, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, but the hamdallah usually is written in a way, in every book, in every Islamic book, you'll find that the hamdallah, right, is written in a way, right, to, prepare the heart, right, for what it's about to take in that book. Every book. Right, every book, right, is written in a way whereby, Islamic book by a scholar, right, it's written in a way whereby the Alhamdulillah would gear you, you would prepare your heart to take the contents of the book. And the slawat also, the slawat that comes after that, would also be written in a way, in a sirah. A sirah is like a formulation of slawat. As you can see by now, I hope you all know by now that there are many types of slawat, and there are many types of formulations of slawat that, and each of these slawats, they actually address a particular thing. So with alhamdulillah, we see how Habib, he has highlighted the most important thing in studying our religion, which is understanding principle. Right, that is the most important thing in studying our religion, right? And that is what will protect you from false ideologies, right? From wrong interpretation, right? From lies that will come in and that will clothe itself with the clothing of the religion, but it is not the religion. And that is actually more scary than something that comes in, clearly, haram. You get what I'm saying, right? So something that comes in clearly haram, you're like, haram. Right? But if something comes in the clothing of the religion, but it is haram on the inside, right? Then, like that is where the deception happens. Right, that is where you're deceived. And that day I was speaking to some of my cousin, and she was talking to her, and then we were speaking about how, the facade, the corruption, in the media, right? And she was saying something that I was thinking about a few days ago, right? About what she said. She said that, like when you watch all these drama series, and when you watch the non-Muslims do it, right? Maybe in your head you're thinking, okay lah, it's non-Muslims, they're all non-Muslims, they're doing all their facade, their zina and whatever, they're non-Muslims. And she was like, but when she sees it in our own Muslim drama, like in Singapore, with the Malay drama, or the Arabs here, they see the Arab drama. They have Arab, yani, they have Arab what do you call this drama series. They do, and it's a big thing here. And the ulama, the habaib, the hababas, the mashayikh, they will speak strongly and clearly against drama series, because it's a big thing. It's a big thing in the Arab lands. They have it from Egypt. Egypt, the Egyptians are doing it. The Turks are doing it, right? So it has come into this land, of them doing all these things. Right, so anyway, Habib Umar will say this because the word musalsal, like in the sense, or the silsila, the salasil, right? So all this series is from the same root word as chain, right? And he's like, all these things that you watch, you all watch all these series, soap operas, this series, right? They're all gonna chain you down. So chains of the devil, right, to the hellfire. Because in the Arabic word, you can say that play, there's a plain word, right? With the word series has same word as the word chain, right? So you're chaining it down, right? So anyway, she was saying that it is, she feels that it is different in its impact when you see that, for example, like a Western drama series, and they're all not Muslim. And then you see a Malay drama series, or you see an Arab drama series, and you're like, they're Muslim, like in a sense, and then like the effect is different. Okay, the effect is different. Allahu Alam, Allahu Alam. But I was saying that and so that's where you go back to the fundamentals, you go back to the qawaid, right? The qawaid of the religion, right? So that you don't wrongfully pick what someone else preaches, right? Because it was the end of time, as Islam said, that what he is more afraid of for us than the Dajjal are the evil scholars. And who are these evil scholars, Ya Rasulullah? Because he is more afraid for us than the Dajjal himself, than Mr. Dajjal himself. Right? He's more fearful for us than Dajjal himself. He's more fearful of the ulama su, right? The evil scholars. And who are these evil scholars? They literally wear the garb of the scholar in Islam, right? They wear the clothing, of a scholar in Islam, right? But they're calling to the hellfire. Right? They're calling to the hellfire. They are not calling to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They are not calling to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And that will be in great number in the end of time. Right? They will be very popular. People will follow them, right? People will take their religion from these human beings, from these people, right? But they are worse than the Dajjal. Right, subhanallah, it's from hadith, hadith. Right, so and you're like, how am I supposed to protect myself? Like, if even it's not going to enter the ranks of the scholars. Right, I mean, those who look like ulama but they're not ulama, they're basically wolf in sheepskin. Like how they would say. Right, they're basically wolves. Right, in the entire garb of the sarban and the jubba and the full display of scholarship. In fact, Dajjal will come in that way as well. Right, he will come in a full garb of this of a highly respected, and educated intellectual, scholar. He will come in that garb first, right? The Dajjal. How else is he going to dupe people, and deceive people, if he's going to come in as a monster? Right? He's not going to come as a monster. And who's going to follow him? He's going to come as a monster, right? He's going to come so charismatic and so charming. That's how people are duped, right? By the outward. Right? But قواعد الدين, قواعد الدين, right? Fundamentals of the faith. I'm not cannot highlight I'm not gonna highlight it. You use the annotation, you annotate on the Zoom. And I put more to Amira because she's so proactive that she did this entire double language. Now I'm making her be more proactive. Making use of her. Right, but you can because I have 12, right? No, 13. So I have 13 points to pull out from the Muqaddimah, right? Because this will help you understand what is to come. Tamam. So the slawat is also geared, right? Also written in a way, right? That written in a way, right? That is to prepare ourselves, right, for the contents of this book, whereby Al-Habib, he mentions, right, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, the last prophet, الخاتم الأمين النبي الخاتم الأمين وعلى آله وصحبه وأصحابه الميامين وعلى التابعين لهم بإحسان إلا من هذه الأمة رجالا ونساء. That is the part that is unique about the salawat, right? That he sends salawat onto all the Prophet and his family, his companions, specifies, right, the men, right? The men and the women, the young and the old, right, in this ummah. And there is a specific things out onto these people as well, because in every zaman, in every era, there will be this group of human beings, right, who will walk the very pure, unadulterated, the illuminated path of our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So then he begins. وَبَعْدُ فهذه النبذة. Today I want to finish the muqaddimah, okay? So inshallah we're going to finish muqaddimah today, so I don't keep staying here and then don't move. Okay, I'm going to finish muqaddimah today, inshallah. So you all prepare yourself. I'm going to go fast. Okay, so I hope you can focus, right? Focus, take notes, right? Understand this well. Okay, understand this well. I don't want to be going into chapter to chapter, building up, on this knowledge, and then you're lost halfway. Right? Don't be that person. Okay, but focus, follow it well, right? Inshallah, you will see the fruits coming to you. And this knowledge, a lot of it is ilm ladunni. Right? A lot of this knowledge is inspired from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because it's to the end of time. It is the end of time, and so it's not said clearly or said bluntly by Rasulullah alaihi wasallam, and not sarahatan. In Arabic you say sarahatan, like just frankly, in that way, by Rasulullah, but he speaks in code. Right, so when he speaks in code, right, it takes a person to look at what he has said, right, and then it takes, and Allah subhanahu will inspire him. Oh, he's talking about this, he's talking about that, right, and then is he talking about this, right? And then you realize what Rasulullah it will occur to you what Rasulullah is talking about, right? And then you are able to take the guidance from him, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. An example of a hadith that was shared during the class, during my class, was that, whereby Al Habib, he mentioned a hadith of Rasulullah, whereby he said that he can see, he can see, and this means in the future, because he uses the present tense, which also means the future tense. He can see that fitna, right? You can see fitna. Fitna means corruption, tribulation. He can see it rain down from the sky and enter into people's homes through the roof. He can really see that. So he described the fitna in the end of times like something raining down from the sky and entering into the homes of people through their roofs. When you read this hadith, you're like, what rain goes through the roof? Right? And what rain can come right into the house and go through the roof? Another hadith, he also mentioned that the fitnas will be shown to people like a straw mat, He's using his own language in his zaman. Is his zaman his language, right? So we're like, what straw mat in our zaman, right? And Habib said, the raining down of fitna, that is our signals. All the signals from the satellites that's up there in space, right? The signals is coming, they're raining down. Literally, they are raining down. They are raining down onto our homes, and our gadgets in the homes are picking up all these signals. And you're like, yeah, that's where the fitna is coming from. Right? It has entered into the very far, the furthest ends of this earth. Right? People can even get Wi-Fi now because of this. What's this guy's name? What's his name? Elon Musk. I forgot his name. Elon Musk, right? He has done this. I think he has filled the sky with satellites to ensure that every corner of this earth gets internet. Could be a good thing, could be a bad thing, right? Because right now in Tarim, we're trying to get the internet so that our internet is stronger and faster, right? But it could be a bad thing, could be a good thing, right? But 90% of the time, it is a bad thing when people don't know how to control their nerves. And then when you say, what about the straw mats? And they say that, well, when mats are woven, when you weave mats, right, you have very small squares on these mats, right? If you've ever seen a woven mat, right? It is in a straw mat, right? They have small squares on this mat, right? And these are like pixels, right? So how do you break that? How do you break that code? Who would link straw mats to pixels? Like who? When someone whom Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala inspired knowledge in them, subhanAllah. Right. So yeah, it is like these mats are being shown to us. And if you go into the micro level, they are like straw mats because they are squares. Right, they're basically squares, and from these lit squares comes all the fitna and the fasad and the corruption, isn't it? Subhanallah. And it's like it's inspired knowledge, from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? Onto Habib's Habib. And inshallah we'll go into ayat al-Quran soon, in the first chapter, in fact, right? There's one, right? There's an ayat here whereby Habib gives a different interpretation, right, from the interpretations that has been given for all this while, right? And he actually, substantiates his different interpretation, using the Quran, the Hadith, and using other sources of tafsir. Right? So again, he will display to us, he will show us how do you go into this knowledge without misinterpreting, right? But basically interpreting things in accordance to the zaman. You get it? So you need to look into matters and to really, match it to what's going on around us. And from there you get the guidance from Rasulullah. Okay, I'm going to continue. تمام. Okay, so تابعين لهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين رجالا ونساء وكبارا وصغارا إلى يوم الدين وبعد فهذه نبذة مختصرة. Right, so نبذة meaning a very short synopsis, right, or summary. Right, the following pages represent an introductory synopsis or summary, right, meant for the beginner student. Right, it is للمبتدئين جمعتها للمبتدئين من طلاب وطالبات العلم الأبوي النبوي. Okay, point number 2 is here. الشرعي. Okay, put number 2 here. Okay, so in the English it will be through our scholarly to this prophetic knowledge, which is linked through our scholarly ancestry. That's point number 2. Sorry, number 2. Right, point number 2, right, of this prophetic knowledge, which is linked through our scholarly ancestry. Can you see that? Okay, let me see if I can annotate on. How do I annotate on Amira? Can I? I thought I can. I thought you can always annotate on someone else's screen. Tak apalah, if you all know where I'm talking about. But I always thought I can annotate on someone else's screen. The kids always do it on my screen, so I don't know how do the kids do it? Never mind, it's okay. Yeah. But the kids they always draw on my screen. They know how to do it. I don't know how to do it. Tak apalah. Okay, it's okay. Maybe I disabled it. Anda musallah. Okay, now. So the point here is al-ilm, right? So it is for the beginners, right, of male and female students. And Habib is very clear, right, or very careful, right, to highlight this, right? Because you see in Arabic, same in English, if you use a word, right, that is that is masculine. So for example, I say, even in English, if I say, mankind, okay, I don't have to say mankind and womankind. Maybe now you have to do that. Right? But in the English language, you don't actually have to say that. Right? We are mankind. Okay, I don't have to go and say womankind. That doesn't make sense. Right? And the same thing also, like, we're all brothers in Islam. I technically don't have to say we are brothers and sisters, right, in Islam. I can say we're all brothers in Islam. And it's understood. It's understood, right? It's understood what I mean, right? In Arabic, same thing. When I say al-mu'minun, right, al-mu'minun, it does refer to the male and the female, right? All of them. Al-muslimun, ayyuhal muslimun, right? Oh, believe, all Muslims, right? You can just say that. You just say that. Share meeting controls. What's the meeting controls? Oh, tamam. And then share what? No, I don't want to share what I bought. Oh wait, tap the pen icon to open the addition photos. When you're done, tap the pen icon to close session close. I don't think my kids do that. The kids are as young as 6-year-old, 5-year-old. So I don't think they actually do this entire thing. Yeah, it's disabled. I know, I disabled it. I am pretty sure I disabled it because the kids kept doing it. It's like I eventually disabled it. Okay, never mind. No, I can't do that as well. Okay, tak apalah. It's okay, it's okay. Right, so anyway, alhamdulillah. What's I saying? Now, right. So anyway, this, you see how Habib he has highlighted this. Even in the Salawat, he said men and women, right? And he says tulab wa talibat, right? It's missed out in the English, but in the Arabic you can see this word tulab wa talibat, right? It's enough to say tulab, it is enough. You don't actually have to say the specific female form. You can say the male form, it is enough, right? So these are like nuances, right? Very specific things that Habib, he puts into his writing, right? Just to highlight the woman, right? To highlight the woman, because one of the two signs or one of the two pillars that was mentioned by Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in Hadith Jibreel, right? One of them was completely about the woman. Right? And you can see in our zaman how it is the women, right, who are being, we are being attacked and we are being used, right, by the devil himself, by the devil himself, right, to destroy people and being used as his minions. And I really, 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 really hope that people, right, you begin to understand the meaning of the word minion, right? Minions. Right? So, I mean, usually in the English language, you use the word minions, not for a good thing. It's not a good thing, right? To use the word minions. The devil has minions, the Dajjal has minions, right? They have like this basically workers, right? Workers in a more sinister, environment, a more negative environment, more evil environment. Because I've seen people, like I mentioned this before, right? They call their children their minions. Why? Why? Why would someone do that? Call your kids minions. Call them angels. Yeah, call them your angels. Ya Allah, Allah yarhamuhum, Allah, Allah yahdihim, Allah, and Allah guide them, Allah have mercy on our children. Like call them, your little angels, your muttaqeen, your imam al muttaqeen. Right? Don't like go around saying minions, your kids. I've seen even like people who are religiously, yani, um inclined or teaching religion, calling their kids minions, right? And the minion that is cute is the Dajjal himself. You see why? You see an entire how it goes. In the minion, the cartoon, the what do you call this? Is it Disney or Pixar? I don't know. What is it called? Despicable. Despicable. It's the word itself says, it says everything, yet we run after it and we watch it. Despicable Me. La hawla wala quwwata illa billah. What kind of title is that? Right? But that itself, gives you a real life example of how something that is so not normal is loved. Do you see that? Right? Do you get that? Right? Something that is so abnormal, right, to be loved. The minions, the cartoons, so the minions. People just like it and they love it, and they're all one-eyed monsters, right? They look like capsules actually. Like it's kind of like pills that you can consume, right? But la hawla wala quwwata illa billah. La hawla wala quwwata illa billah. Why would you call your children that word, right? And the word is not, it's not a positive word in the English language. Language matters, eh? Language really matters. That day I was doing I said, I need to mention the muqaddimah today, right? But I wanted to share, right? That day I was doing tafsir in the university. And I like that I'm teaching this, that I'm studying. So like whatever I learn, I can share with you all straight away. As opposed to studying the whole thing, and after like 4 years, 5 to 6 years, then share, and like a lot of things maybe might not be shared. So but anyway, that day we were having our tafsir, right? And our tafsir teacher in the Jamia and the university is very excellent teacher, right? Mundar Mustafa, I don't know his name. What's his name? I put his name. Okay, I find his name later on. Right, but and Mashallah in Tarim, as I mentioned before, that when the men teach us, they don't see us at all. They're basically in a room, but there's a camera that is pointed at them and a whiteboard behind them, and basically is being screened in our flat screen in our classroom. So high tech. So the men actually don't see the women at all. Now they call a sheikh. So even in Darul Zahra, we have a sheikh room. Right? Even in the university, we have a sheikh room. So the sheikh, their entrance and exit is something that is completely separate from the school itself. Right. So anyway, he was just sharing something during the tafsir last lesson, and he said something in Arabic. He was like, any one of you here in Arabic, he said, anyone of you here know this term or have heard of this term, any Adiyana al-Ibrahimiyya. He said that Adiyana al-Ibrahimiyya. So of course I knew it basically means the Abrahamic faith. Right, that's what it means, the Abrahamic faiths. Right, it's a term that is not in our religion, that is not from our scholars. It is a term that is from the West. Right, the West coined this term, Abrahamic faiths. Right, so he actually asked this question. And then the thing about the hawlat, they're very particular about terminology, because it is from terminology and from word usage, right, that ideas are implemented and spread. You see? right? Like, for example, this cartoon, right? This Despicable Me cartoon, right? They could call these creatures anything, but they called it minions. You get it? They could choose any word, right? Maybe call them, I don't know, capsules, or call them pills, or call them, I don't know, call them something, or drops of sunshine, if they want to call them drops of sunshine. Right? I mean, they could call them anything, right? But the word minion was used. It is all deliberate. Everything is deliberate. That is deliberately chosen. The one eye is deliberate, right? To make one eye the norm, right? It's all deliberate, right? So anyway, he was mentioning about he asked the class, and the things that in our school. I think I love Tarim so much, right? Because we fully have like a university going on, and we have male teachers, and we have interactions with our male teachers, but he does not see us at all. We're in a classroom, there is no teacher in our classroom except a screen, and there is a mic in our classroom. So we actually speak into the mic and he hears us. Like, he can actually hear us if any questions, if any issues. He makes us read also, this teacher. So he actually have to read the text in front of him, and he will follow our reading of the text. So anyway, he asked the question, anyone in the class, knows has ever heard of the term Adiyan al-Ibrahimiyya? And then, so of course, I mean, my classmates, no one has ever heard of it. And I thought it's very interesting that nobody in my class has ever heard of the term Abrahamic faiths. And I'm like, in our country, or in our land, in our part of the world, in the West, and also in Singapore, the word Abrahamic faith is a very known term, right? The Abrahamic faiths. I mean, we know about it, we don't think much about it. So I took the mic and I just said, الديانة الإبراهيمية الدين اليهودي والنصارى والإسلام, right? It is the Judaic faith, the Christian faith, and Islam, right? That is what they call as the Abrahamic faiths, right? That was what it's called. Then he said, correct. That is what they have termed it, and is what they have defined it. They have defined Abrahamic faiths to be Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. And then he said, but the Quran tells us, someone's unmuted. But the Quran tells us that in the ayat in the Quran, because you go to some verses in the Quran about the people of the book, right? But the Quran tells us that Ibrahim was not Yahudi or Nasrani, right? The Quran clearly tells us Ibrahim was not a Jew nor a Christian, but he was a Muslim, an upright Hanifa Muslimah. He is an upright Muslim. And then he said, do you know why this term Abrahamic faith was coined? Do you know why? This is the kind of thing that blows your mind, like, because we use these terms, we hear them a lot, and you don't even think there's anything sinister behind it. Right? You don't even think there's anything that is not right behind it, because it's always used in a way to bring harmony between the three faiths, right? So it always seems to be like a good term, a nice term, right? The Abrahamic faiths, right? We have something in common, Nabi Ibrahim. Isn't that right? Right? We all can agree on Nabi Ibrahim, can't we? Right? In a sense, like you get what I'm saying? This term, fiqh is really not for the, for the shallow thinker. Okay? It's not for the shallow thinker. You gotta come to fiqh hawlat, you gotta start thinking deeply, right? And looking at things and understanding things. I feel that the demands of it with regards to pondering and thinking, right? And even in intellect, right? It's a very strong demand, of this, subhanAllah, from this. So anyway, he was saying that, it is the Abrahamic faiths, right, are defined to be Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. And I said, yeah, that is what, in the West, we say that. Right? In Singapore, we say that. In the rest of the world, says that. Right? Abrahamic faiths. And he said, but the Quran, clearly, in the nas of the Quran, right, in the ayat in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala clearly says to us, Ibrahim is not a Jew nor a Christian, but he is an upright Muslim. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says. Another part of the Quran, and Nabi Ibrahim himself, Allah quotes Nabi Ibrahim himself saying that I am the first of the Muslims. Right. So he says that, so what is the problem if these people terming these three religions as Abrahamic faith? The problem is that will be said, or it will be said in the future, it does not matter whether you are Muslim or whether you are or whether you are Christian, it doesn't matter. As long as you're of the Abrahamic faith, you are under Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam. You are under Nabi Ibrahim alayhi salam. So it does not matter which of these three faiths, they are all correct. They're all the same. They are all from Nabi Ibrahim alayhi salam. He is the fifth of them. Right? So subhanAllah, he was saying that towards the end of time, this term will not just be, for now it is introduced as something to bring harmony between the three faiths. And he said you can get harmony between the three faiths without calling them Abrahamic religions. You don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. You can just have harmony. Just have harmony, right, between people. You don't have to be, aggressive between people. Right? But why must they call it, Abrahamic? Right? Why must they call this faith Abrahamic? Or call these faiths Abrahamic? Why? When the Quran clearly says it is not. Like Nabi Ibrahim alayhi salam, right? It's not Yahudian wala Nasranian, right? But he is, rather the Quran says, rather he is an upright Muslim. You get the now. Yeah, but rather the Quran says that he is an upright Muslim alayhi salam. So anyway, I'm not sure why I went to that, right? But yeah, actually I went to that because of terminology. Terminology is important. Terminology is important. Right? Nothing is coincidental. It's all deliberate, right? So the word minions, deliberate, right? The drawing of it with only one eye, deliberate, right? A lot of things that's going on in our society, deliberate, right? Even something that we won't even think about, that there might be something behind that, like as saying, and when he first said it, I was like, no, Abrahamic faiths is just, it's a way of harmony between Muslims and Christians and Jews, right? That's why we say Abrahamic faith, right? But then, but when he began to explain, he was like, there is no need to bring the word Ibrahim into this, because it goes against the Quran directly. The Quran clearly says that Ibrahim is not a Jew nor a Christian, right? But rather he's a Muslim, an upright Muslim, right? Musliman Hanifan Muslimah, right? He is an upright Muslim, Nabi Ibrahim alayhi salam. SubhanAllah. Something like this, mashallah. So anyway, the word tulab or talibat, right? So Habib focuses in the Arabic, you find this word, in the English you don't find it actually, because the English puts the whole thing as students, right? But male and female students, right? Emphasizing it is important for our females and our males to study this, right? So it's in Tarim here, we have a university for the boys, for the men is in Husaisa, near Muhajir, and the university for the girls, it is in Tarim itself, just down the road from the Zahra. Right, mashallah. When I first came here, I wanted to go to the university, but I was like, oh, it's in Husaisa, all the way there, Imam Muhajir. And then they're like, no, that's where the men are. The women is down they're down the road. So, oh, mashallah, right here down my house. Mashallah. So, al-ilm al-abawi, I like that. Al-ilm al-abawi, right? So, prophetic knowledge, which is linked through scholarly ancestry and part. Okay, al-ilm al-abawi al-nabawi al-shara'i. I'm going to explain each of these terms. Okay, so the first thing that we have here, the first word that we have here is the word ilm, right? The word knowledge. All right, and of course, the word knowledge, we understand it as something that we know things by, right? That is the meaning of the word knowledge, right? So something that and yudrik bihi shay, right? Whereby you will know something by this, right? So this knowledge, and there are two types of knowledges in Islam, right? And as you go into the science of knowledge, right? You have knowledge that is invented by human beings, and you have knowledge that is revealed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? So you have wada'i, invented knowledge, and you have samawi, right? Samawi, from the word sama, from the word sky in Arabic, which means revealed knowledge, right? So revealed knowledge is the only knowledge that is absolutely and completely true, with no doubt whatsoever. Okay, whereas for invented knowledge or discovered knowledge, right, or theories by human beings, right, these are of course subject to them being flawed, or you might even or maybe if it's not flawed, but any limited, right? Limited. It's not all encompassing in any way, right? So and that should humble us as human beings. It should humble us. I was just saying, I don't know where I was saying this, but I can't remember which class. Right? But anyway, was it last week? No, I don't know. But anyway, there's this like, for example, when scientists, or doctors were to say a statement like this particular organ or this particular, procedure or this particular, food has absolutely no medical benefit. For example, right? For example, people might say that there's absolutely no medical benefit. Right? Oh yes, I was speaking about this in Aqidah, but not this Aqidah is under Nabawi. But basically, this kind of statement, right? When a scientist or a doctor were to say this procedure has absolutely no medical benefit, who are they to say absolutely no medical benefit? Has your knowledge, reached the very end of knowledge? Like, have you discovered every single thing there is to know to be able to make a fully conclusive statement that has no medical benefit? You're a human being, right? So what human beings can actually say, and the most they can actually say is that we have not discovered any medical benefit. Right? Because of our own shortcomings as human beings, right? Right, and our own shortcomings in our materials, in our apparatus, in our technology, we have we don't have like the best technology, that it could get better in the future. Right? So a human being cannot logically saying, a human being cannot logically say that there is absolutely no benefit in this. Like, how do you know, right? Just because you have not found any benefit. So you can conclusively say there is no benefit. Subhanallah wa la hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. That's arrogance. Arrogance right there. Right? It's like the atheist saying, oh, there is no God in this world because we can't prove there is no God. So therefore there is no God. No. Their disability, right, or inability, right, to see very clearly the signs of God is just their inability to see very clearly the signs of God. Right? Their inability does not show that God does not exist. Logic. This logical statement. Right? So just because I sit in my room right now and I don't see any durians, I can't see any durians. I can't say there are no durians in this world. So made up. It's all made up. I can't say that. I'm just in my room. I've not gone anywhere. Right? It's a ridiculous statement. Subhanallah. But yet you see it, you see online. I will say that there is absolutely no medical benefit right now in the entire issue of female circumcision. Right? Our scholars have discussed it thoroughly. I don't go into it, but the scholars have discussed it thoroughly. But what I find appalling is when doctors come up and say there is absolutely no medical benefit. How do you know? Have you done do you know everything about the human body? And in fact, up to today, with our science and technology and our advancements, so-called, we have hardly scratched the surface of the human body. We really don't know a lot of what is going on inside of us. We don't know. We don't understand. Right? And that's just of our physical body. We have no clue about our soul and no clue about our mental health and our mind, our brains, our memories, our dreams. Right? We have absolutely no clue of how our emotions work. Don't know anything about ourselves. And how in the world can someone, put up a statement and say, absolutely no benefit? Are you God to say that? Only God can say that. Right? Human beings can't say that. So anyway, I'm going to continue. Right, so the word knowledge, I don't know what knowledge, and the word ilm, right, is idrak. Right? ما هو العلم هو الإدراك. Right? What is knowledge? It is to know something, to understand something, to comprehend, right? To completely encapsulate, right? Or to understand something. It's tawab, and in Arabic, it's tawab. And you have understood the matter well. Right? So first and foremost, right? So he says here in this knowledge, right? This book is for beginners, right? In a knowledge, okay? So this knowledge we're going to try. This knowledge is something that is abawi. Okay, abawi, right? In the English, it says the word. It has the word prophetic, right? Because the word abawi, we have abawi nabawi, right? So abawi, okay, I like to use the word abawi to mean traditional, right? Traditional meaning, and the word traditional meaning back to our ancestors, back to, okay, maybe the word ancestry is here. The word ancestry, okay, I'm going to link them up, okay? So the word prophetic is with the word nabawi, the word knowledge is the word ilm, the word scholarly is with the word Shara'i. Can you see that? Right, the word ancestry is the word abawi. Can you see how the transition is working? Because I'm going to go in this way. Okay, I'm going to follow the Arabic. Then you're just going to highlight where I'm explaining. So right now I'm explaining the word ancestry. Okay, I have explained the word knowledge. All right, so knowledge is idrak. It is what you understand. It is what you understand, what you have encapsulated, what you have gone into. And I mentioned that there are two types of knowledge, right? First type of knowledge is knowledge that is revealed from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and there is complete, absolute, it is truth, it is haqq. Then you have knowledge that is derived or that is invented, right? And that is wada'i, right? That is from human beings, is limited, that is subject to cost from in, right? And the cost in there can be the nafs of the human being, what the human being wants, right? So that's why for us human beings, when we come to knowledges that are crafted by other human beings, to always come, right, with a lot of skepticism, right? A lot of skepticism, right? When you come to these knowledges, because these knowledges, first and foremost, they are subject to the limitations of human beings, the human mind, the human experience, the human technology, right? They are subject to the nafs of the human being, right? That someone might try and come up with a knowledge, and then it follows their nafs. Okay, it follows enough. Like what I was saying earlier just now about the entire this modern day psychology, right? I don't know, Allah Alam, I can't speak so much about psychology, but I went through a few courses, but I don't know, I don't like it, right? Because I see a lot of nafs in there, right? A lot of nafs going on, right? So something about, my truths, and then I was asking my sister-in-law, because she's a psychology major. I was asking her about certain things that I learned in a recent course, and then I was asking her, what does it mean by what do they call it nowadays? Validating people's feelings. Yeah. So I was asking her, like, what does that mean when you validate someone's feelings, right? When you validate someone's experience, when you validate someone's emotions, what does that mean? And does it have any place in our religion? Does it stand anywhere in our religion? Where we see that Imam Ghazali speaks about 4 types of whispers that happens to a human being, right? So when you speak about what Imam Ghazali says about the 4 types of whispers that happens to a human being. So for example, the 4 whispers, the first whisper is Rabbani, from Allah subhanahu himself, he inspires the human being. Second whisper is Shaitani, from Shaitan. Third whisper is from the angels, and the fourth whisper is from the nafs. Right, the human being is subject to 4 different whispers. Right, so when I say, I feel a certain way about something, should I be validated or should I be guided? Right. So when I see something and I feel angry about it, or I feel upset about it, I feel sad about it, I feel hurt about it, right? Not all feelings are valid, because that feeling could very well come from a shaitanic source, right? He's always putting it there. Right? So you think it's from you, it's not from you. It's from shaitan. So if someone were to validate it, what are they doing? They're affirming what shaitan is whispering. Would they not be doing that? I don't know. Right? So she'll think, no, validating just means you're listening, you're just listening to them. Then say listening lah. Why must you say validating? Because to validate means to say it's correct, right? Isn't that in the English language? When I say when something is valid, it's sah, right? Valid, it's correct. If all I'm doing is just hearing something out, hearing someone out, just just to help them with their problems, then I'm hearing them out. That's all I'm doing. I'm not validating them in what they're feeling, because what they could be saying could actually be wrong, right? What they could be feeling could actually be wrong, could be from their nafs, from the shaitan, right? I mean, especially if it's something like to do with sulzon, like someone's very upset about something, and then it's basically a better opinion of somebody else. I'm not going to validate what that person's feeling, because you're having a better opinion of someone else, right? And this better opinion is coming from who? Shaitan. And it's making you feel so upset and so angry about someone. I can't validate that. I cannot, as a Muslim, I cannot validate that. So anyway, I was saying that when it comes to the word knowledge, okay, right? When it comes to the word knowledge, there are 2 types of knowledges. What is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? And basically, the entire 4 whispers that brings Imam Ghazali pulls it out from the Quran and the Sunnah of Rasulullah. So it is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala about the 4 whispers in the human mind. We take it when we do Minaj al-Abidin, and Minaj al-Abidin actually speaks about it. And what human beings have placed down, like validating everybody. Right? Everyone's valid. You are validated. I don't know how. I really don't understand our Zaman. Like they're using all kinds of terms nowadays to make everybody sah. Like everybody, like whatever you like, whatever you want, whatever makes you happy is correct. Be as how you want. The day my husband was showing this video about this woman who was showing her parenting style. So toxic, her parenting style. Basically, her parenting style is let the child do whatever they want to do. And my husband was like, this is called being a neglectful parent, being a lousy parent, right? And there are lousy parents. People say, no, parents know best. No, they don't. Right? There are many parents who are actually lousy parents, right? Because they don't know best. They don't. Right? They're doing things that's harming their children, many of them. And that is why you have something called child abuse. Because there are people out there who are parents. You're not born with the ability. You actually learn how to parent. So there's this new parenting method, so toxic, so terrible. Is basically let kids do whatever they want to do. So in her video, she was like, my child eats whatever he wants to eat. My child sleeps whenever he wants to sleep. My child wears whatever he wants to wear. If he's not happy with the food that's in the house, we go out and buy him something that he likes whenever he wants to. Well, you're just creating a monster. That's an ideology right now. It's called free parenting. Free parenting. Like, how is that more monster parenting? Right? But basically, what all she's doing from our deen, from our religion, straight away, the light of guidance tells us she's feeding his nafs. Right? Straight away you say that. Right? As a Muslim. When I hear this kind of parenting, alhamdulillah for Islam, alhamdulillah for Islam. Right? When I hear this kind of nonsense, garbage online, it's a new type of parenting, there's a better type of parenting. Just let your kid do whatever they want, it makes them happy. No, it does not. It destroys them. Right? So there are people who have common sense who can see that. But for us, alhamdulillah, as Muslims, the Islam tells us no, control. You got to control them, right? Put limits on them, right? Tell them what to eat, what not to eat. Tell them when to sleep, when to wake up. Tell them how to bathe them, about cleanliness, about hygiene. You got to teach them all these things, like child-led. I don't know what this child-led thing is about, right? But I've read it before, like child-led education or parenting. Basically, your child is, like a bundle of nuts. Anyone has ever had small children? This is why that we have this thing called in our culture, terrible twos, terrible threes, because you have a child who now has enough energy and enough, strength, but has no mind. That means the akal has not formed yet to reason and to rationalize, but the nafs is full blown. It's Allah's test on the parents. So there's this human being who can run and they can walk and they can jump and they can break things, and they can do a lot of things with their hands. They're not, babies in the cradle, but they're toddlers running around. They have full-blown nafs with no akal, and the akal's not there yet. The akal has yet to shine in this human being. So why it's called terrible twos, terrible threes? Because you're handling, a ball of nafs that you can't control this nafs so effectively, because there's no mind yet. The mind has not come in, the tamyiz has not come in. It comes in later on at age of 6 or 7, right? But so while they're 2, 3, 4, you're just trying to work with them, right? And it's why they come the screaming, the shouting, the tantrums, because they're frustrated, right? But of course, you don't let them do whatever they want to do. Ridiculous, right? So anyway, I was saying that the 2 types of knowledge is again 2 types of knowledge that is revealed. Right? Imam Ghazali tells us about the 4 whispers of the human being, so we know the child is definitely subject to shaitan. Yes, shaitan begins very young. From the point the child is born, shaitan begins his work already. Right? Don't be naive about that. So don't be shocked. I don't have parents who get shocked when their kids lie. Shaitan's on their kids. Right? Shaitan's on their kids. That is why saying what we say about Prophet, he has never lied in his life. That's a mu'ajiza. that is a miracle because no human being has that except for prophets. Right? SubhanAllah. And I have so many parents who are like, my child just lied. And it's how old is your child? 4 years old. It's normal. It's normal. They will begin to lie because there's a first line of defense. It's not okay. It's not okay, but it's normal. Right? So then comes the guidance. Tamam. Okay, Abawi, right? Abawi, we look at the word ancestry, right? It's from the word Abawi, right? Father. This brings us back to Nabi Adam, alayhi salam. So knowledge, right? Knowledge that is, al-ilm al-abawi, right? Knowledge all the way from our father, Nabi Adam alayhi salam. And that is why the study of Fiqh and other books will begin with the beginning, which is the creation of Nabi Adam alayhi salam. And that is why the first story mentioned in the Quran, for us to understand the principles of the story. Hold on, I'm just. Are you going off? Okay. Tamam. Right. Naam. Okay. Right. So, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. Now, right. So, what do we learn from Nabi Adam alayhi salam? Right. We learn from Nabi Adam alayhi salam. The first thing, right, is from Nabi Adam alayhi salam. We learn if you want to know about how to manage your children, go for the parenting course. Okay, parenting course. There's a parenting course going on by Ustazah Anisa. I think it's every Saturday. Go for that one. You can ask your parenting questions there. Inshallah. Okay. So Abawi, right, from Nabi Adam alayhi salam, what do we learn about Nabi Adam alayhi salam? We learn about taklif, right? Taklif. What is taklif? Meaning that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has imposed on us. It is something Allah has obligated us and imposed on us, right? So Allah has imposed on us as human beings, from Nabi Adam from Nabi Adam's time, obedience to him subhanahu wa ta'ala. So even in paradise, when Nabi Adam was in Jannah, right, taklif was there because Allah placed one tree in the entire of Jannah to be haram. Right? There was one tree to be haram. So the moment there is something forbidden, and there is an instruction, oh Adam, do not go near this tree. Right? Eat whatever you want in paradise, but do not go near this tree. Okay, all this, put on your points, okay? It's all under the word Abawi, okay, for you to understand. Abawi. Okay? So taklif is what we get from Nabi Adam alayhi salam, meaning that Allah has imposed upon us rules and regulations. So this knowledge that we get from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this knowledge is samawi, it's revealed knowledge. What does it come with? It comes with sharia, right? Sharia, law, right? So abawi, so from our father, Nabi Adam alayhi salam, Allah has placed taklif, right? The taklif, okay, a word that might be more familiar to most people will be the word mukallaf. The word mukallaf, taklif, right? Kallafa yukallifu, taklifan mukallaf. Right? The mukallaf, right, is all of us are mukallaf, baligh, aqil, right? Those who have reached puberty and those who have a sound mind, right? So you are mukallaf in the sense that the laws of this religion is placed on you, right? You need to act on the laws of this religion. You are mukallaf, right? So Allah placed this on Nabi Adam alayhi salam. The moment Allah says to Nabi Adam, "Oh Adam, eat whatever you want in this garden, but do not go near that tree." The moment he did that, the moment Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made something haram, right, and gave Nabi Adam choice. Nabi Adam has choice to go to the tree or not to go to the tree. He has a choice. Unlike the angels, who have no choice, right? So that is what we have inherited from Nabi Adam alayhi salam. We have inherited choice, and we have inherited knowledge. We have inherited it's called imposition. No? Basically, Allah has imposed on us. Allah has imposed on us that we must obey him, subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's under Abawi. Okay? It's under Abawi. Okay. And then we also learn from Nabi Adam alayhi salam that we are not angels. We slip as Nabi Adam slipped. Right? We slip as Nabi Adam slipped. And what is more beloved to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the turning back and the running back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in repentance. There's the fourth thing of Nabi Adam alayhi salam. So what Abawi? So a knowledge that is inherited, okay, is a knowledge, ilm abawi, is a knowledge is inherited from our father, Nabi Adam alayhi salam. And that is what knowledge is. It makes a human being, right? It makes a person, right? If you want to know if you have been improving in your knowledge, ask yourself, have I been improving in my taqwa, in my obedience, ta'ah? Right? If you have been memorizing Quran or learning Arabic or learning Hadith or learning Sharia, or learning fiqh and everything, and you have not stopped the haram in your life, and you've not increased on the ibadah in your life, then what knowledge have you been, gaining? Knowledge in laysa ala sutur walakin huwa nur fi sudur, right? That knowledge, it is not online. لازم ما يكتب عن في السطور ولكن هو نور في الصدور. It is not what is written on lines, but it is light that shine from the heart, and it would translate into obedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is why Habib, he brought the words together, al-ilm al-abawi, right? Knowledge that is traditional. Traditional from who? From your ancestor. Who? Nabi Adam alayhi salam. Walk that path. That kind of knowledge is what you want. When Allah taught Nabi Adam the names, what did Allah teach Nabi Adam alayhi salam? Right? And it's one of the tafsir says that Allah taught Nabi Adam the names of the righteous from his progeny. Allah taught Nabi Adam those because in the Quran itself, Allah says ha'ula, right? In the sense, Allah speaks to about a group like that Nabi Adam was taught about, a group, right? In some tafsir and in Habib tafsir as well, he says that it was the names of the Anbiya and the Awliya, and the names of the righteous in amongst the prophets and the Awliya, those who are obedient. So Nabi Adam has learned that, right? And then so when he slipped, right, he taught us how to come back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The word Nabawi, and from Nabi Adam alayhi salam, we have this knowledge that goes through prophets. The knowledge itself and the application of the knowledge itself that goes through the Anbiya. Actually, what Nabawi here refers to what? The Anbiya. So knowledge that is through a silsila, it is through a sanad, right? Through all the prophets, they all say one thing in regards to the aqidah, right? There is no God but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and there is a hereafter, right? All the way down to our beloved sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and Nabawi. Then from our beloved sallallahu alayhi wa sallam down to our zaman, through a very strong chain of transmission that cannot be neglected, cannot be ignored, right? And that it is necessary, it's not a choice, but it is necessary that you take this knowledge from this chain, because there is a siyana there. Siyana meaning there is a protection there, or an immunity. When you link to the sanad, right, that is where you have immunity, right, from all the deceptions and the guiles in the zaman. You get it, right? So I mentioned that there will be all kinds of things going on and all kinds of claims going on, and that there will be the ulama su, right? There will be the evil scholars. So how do you differentiate who do I follow and who do I not follow in the end of time, especially when the ones who are not saying what is correct and what is true, they will be the majority, and they will be loud. They'll be very loud, and they will be popular and famous and have huge, any big seminars and whatsoever. They'll be huge people. Then how do you know who do we follow? Who do we take from? Sanad. Right? Look for the golden chain. Right? Look for the golden sanad. Right? Look for that. Right? Who carries this? Right? And of course, you go back to the words of Rasulullah to say what he said, about who do you take your knowledge from and hold on to these things after he passed away. Shara'i from the Sharia of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? The secret knowledge. We're going to continue from there. Right? So وعن ركن الرابع من أركان الدين. وعن ركن الرابع من أركان الدين. That's point number 3 right there. I'm going to spend so much time on each point. Alhamdulillah. But I don't want to rush through. Okay, I don't want to rush through. But just that you all must remind me where I stop. This is why I want to finish the entire Muqaddimah today, because I know I keep going back. Right, so I keep forgetting where I stop. Right, so you need to tell me next scenario that we stop exactly at which word. Okay, at which word did you stop? Then I will continue from there so that we can actually move in the book and not just stay on one page for months on end. Tamam. So عن ركن الرابع من أركان الدين. Right, point number 3. Okay, so point number 3 on the 4th pillar of the religion. Right. So this fourth pillar of the religion, very simple, mashallah, is from Hadith Jibril. We're going to take it in the next chapter, so I'm not going to speak about it right now. Right? But basically, in Hadith Jibril, right, Habib will prove and show, right, that there are indeed four components of the religion of Islam and not three, right? And they are Islam, Iman, Ihsan, and the signs of the end of times. Okay, so there's four components to our religion and not three. And how this is how we have been studying as Muslims. Inshallah, we have been studying as Muslims. The other three components, there is a very serious need to study the fourth component. A very, very, very dire and urgent need to study the fourth component. And so, mashallah, our teacher did, so Anisa, she was saying that it's like, like a mother having four children, and then like three have been nurtured so well and brought up so well and fed and given so much attention to three of them. Then the miskin one right, by the side, right, no one has paid attention to this one very much. I mean, the of course have done it, right, but not to the amounts whereby you would give the attention of aqidah and fiqh and tasawwuf, and onto the first three. So now we are taking this fourth child right, of the religion and bringing him into the embrace of the mother and nurturing him, right, so that he can tell us, who is out there trying to destroy his first three brothers, right, who are Islam, Iman, and Ihsan. From the analogy, mashallah. Right, so the fourth rukun, right, so this entire study, its entire prophetic, scholarly, ancestry study of this religion is going to be focused on the fourth pillar. So as I go into the hadith later on in Hadith Jibril in the first dars, in the first lesson, I will not be explaining Islam, Iman, Ihsan, but I will be going through it. I will be going past it like quickly, and I'm going to focus a lot of our time on the fourth question of Jibril, or the fifth question of Jibril, when he asks, are there the signs of the hour? I'm going to focus on that, okay? Because every book of hadith will focus on the first three very in a lot of depth, right? Hadith Imam Nawawi, 40 hadiths, you will find that it will focus very strongly on the Islam, Iman, Ihsan, right? But there's really not much commentary on the last part. Okay, so we're going to focus only, right? So it's understanding, only going to focus only on the last component of a religion, the Rukun Rabi'. More will be said about this in the upcoming chapters, so I'm not going to say so much right now. In Arkanuddin, so it has in place as Arkanuddin, it has in place with the pillars of this religion, or the components of this religion, right? So therefore, it should get, the same amount of study and attention as what we do with our tahara, our salat, our aqidah, and then akhlaq and so on. Okay, so get enough attention on it as well. And then al-hawi ala alamat as-sa'a. Okay, number 4 is here. And I put number 4. Are you following me? You're putting numbers down. Okay, so number 4, which discusses put number 4 here. Okay, major, middle, minor signs of the last day. Okay, number 4 here. All right, so على علامة الساعة الكبرى والوسطى والصغرى. Okay, so here we see that the signs of the last day, they're actually grouped in several ways. Okay, they are grouped in several ways. The first and most common way, there has been the way since like from the beginning, of Islamic scholarship, right, from the Sahaba, from the Tabi'in, and from the Imams of the past, right, the most common way is to group the signs according to major, middle, and minor. Okay, that is the most common way of grouping the signs. Okay, Habib al-Qur'ani has introduced 2 other ways of grouping the signs. So basically, what you have is that you have like a lot of hadith, and it's a lot, a lot of hadith that speaks about end of times, right? And this is why it's so amazing that, Rasulullah has spoken about everything that's going to come in the end of times. And it's really not an FYI thing. And like, FYI, it's going to happen this, going to happen that. No, he is warning. It's a warning. Like, he mentions all this stuff. It's not just for us to be, for the Sahaba or those before to like, oh, interesting. No, right? But it's like, it is a himaya. It's a protection, right? That you learn this, what he said. So he's addressing us directly in these hadiths. He's addressing us, right? So So the scholars like Imam Bukhari, for example, Muslim, right, they have an entire section in their collection of hadith, right, dedicated to the science of the end of life. Is dedicated, right, and a lot of hadiths that they have compiled and collected, right, from the Sahaba, right, down to Tabi'in, right, down to them, right, about the end of life. They have collected, right, and it's a chapter. It's a chapter in their book, right. So so the most common way of grouping, and grouping matters. When you group knowledge, right, it guides the thinking of the people, and it also guides how they interact with this knowledge. For example, when I teach tahara, wudu, and I teach conditions or shurut of wudu, make it very clear, these are shurut. What are shurut? And I can clearly define what is what shurut, right? Conditions. Then you teach arkanul wudu, right? Arkan wudu are the pillars of wudu, right? What basically, what you have to do to actually perform wudu. And then I teach nawaqid wudu, right? What nullifies wudu. So you see how the entire chapter of wudu, right, is compartmentalized, right? So they have grouped it, right? So these hadiths speak about shurut. These hadiths speak about the arkan. These hadiths speak about nawaqid, about what nullifies wudu. So when something happens to me when I'm performing my wudu, right, I give a judgment, or I give a ruling from my understanding. Okay, from my understanding of what is shurut, what is arkan, and what nullifies my wudu. You get it? So from there, I have a very structured way of understanding this entire topic of wudu, and I know how to interact with it correctly, right? So for example, if someone were to take wudu halfway, okay, take wudu halfway, and they wash until their head, okay, they wipe their head, and they couldn't, wash their feet yet, right? Because they took the wudu at the kitchen sink, and then someone in the bathroom, they couldn't wash their feet yet. Okay, khalas, they wait for the person to come out of the bathroom, they sit down and they on their phone, whatever they're doing. Allah alam, okay, they're doing Quran. Okay, no, they're not Quran yet. They have no wudu. Right? So maybe they're just sitting there doing dhikr. Okay, doing dhikr at the couch. Okay, so maybe this person forgot all about it, right? And then went to the masjid after that. Maybe there were 2-3 hours in between. Still did not wash the feet. Correct. So now at the masjid, she remembers, I didn't wash my feet just now. So what do we say to her? So we look, right? Look at the shurut of wudu. Okay? Look at the arkan. I'm not going to answer. Look at the arkan of wudu. And you look at what, nullifies wudu. And you can give her a correct answer, because you've understood the compartmentalization of the knowledge. I'll give you an example. I'm not going to do the answer, it's not fiqh class. But you should know the answer. Those who are my students for a long time, who have been doing fiqh for so long, you should know the answer. Okay, of this woman who forgot to wash her feet. And now at the masjid, she's like, hey, I didn't wash my feet. And then what should I do now? Must I redo the entire wudu? Or just wash my feet? Or can I just pray? Or I mean, you need to know how to answer a question. Correct. That is the secret, or that is the not secret. That is the maybe so cliche, but the power, hey, the power of compartmentalization, or of grouping something correctly and well. That is the entire. Give me a good word. Secret. Like the usefulness. Okay, the usefulness. The power of grouping something well. So Habib, he regrouped it. He does maintain the major, middle, and minor signs. Yes, he does maintain that kind of grouping, because all the scholars have been doing that for generations. They've been grouping all the signs according to major, middle, minor. And inshallah, next week I will speak about each of these very quickly, very briefly. I'll say now, the minor signs begin from Nabi Adam alayhi salam coming down to earth. It begins from there, and the minor signs will continue to happen until the horn is blown, like signaling the day of judgment. Okay, so minor signs begin when? From the coming down of Nabi Adam alayhi salam onto the earth, and till when will it manifest? It will manifest right through the middle and major signs, all the way to the blowing of the horn. Okay, so minor signs all the way through. Okay, middle signs begin with the bi'atha of Rasulullah. That means with the revelation onto Rasulullah. So on the 17th of Ramadan, when he first got revelation, and he was raised to be a Prophet, that is when the middle signs began. Okay, and the middle signs will continue to manifest until the second Sufyani manifests. And then we will talk about the Sufyanis later on. Okay, there are two Sufyanis. Right? Before the Dajjal comes out, there are two Sufyanis. So the middle signs, so we're right now there. We're towards the end of the middle signs. We're towards the end. We are waiting for the first Sufyani to appear, right? And the second Sufyani to appear. Then thereafter, Dajjal will appear. Or no, actually, Mahdi will appear. Then Dajjal. Okay. The major signs are like a domino. Okay. So once the first major sign appears, the domino effect one by one will occur. Right, like in an Arabic statement, they will say like beads of a tasbih falling off, right? Plus like domino effect, right? But basically, when one bead falls off, right, it will be all the way down until the horn is blown. That's the major signs. Okay, so it's like a domino effect. The moment the Mahdi shows himself, it's going to be one after another till the horn is blown. 10 major signs. There are 10, right? 10 major signs all the way down. Habib regrouped this. Okay, he regrouped this and he grouped it. I'm going to be very, very quick and I'm going to end our class there. He regrouped this into, first and foremost, into the two pillars of the signs of the Day of Judgment, as in Hadith Jibril. We're going to take it later on in next lesson, inshallah. So the two pillars of, that a slave girl gives birth to her master, and the other pillar is that you will see the destitute, barefoot, naked Bedouin competing to build higher and higher buildings. Okay, so these two signs are mentioned in the hadith, and these two are pillars of the Day of Judgment, or pillars of the signs of the Day of Judgment. And Habib has compartmentalized the different signs into these two, into a new way of compartmentalizing. Okay, and inshallah, I will speak about this a bit more later next lesson, for us to understand like how this benefits in him doing a new form of grouping, like grouping the signs according to the two pillars. Okay. The other way he has grouped the signs is according to the 5 knowledges of this science. Right? There are 5 knowledges of this science. I'm just going to go through them very quickly. Right? But there is an entire chapter that is dedicated, right, to these five knowledges. Right? So the 5 knowledges, right, of this science, right, is the first one, right, is let me just get to the science. Where is it actually? Get that one. Okay, so the 5 knowledges, right, is the first one is fiqh al-nawaqid wa naqa'id. Right, so basically the first knowledge is the understanding of what depletes this religion. Okay, there's a full science about that, of the depletion, right, and the removal, right, of the strands of these religion, right. And in this science as well are, trials and tribulations that lead people astray, right? And then under this sign is also the means by which you can find protection from all of this, right? And in knowledge and also in economy. Okay, the second knowledge, so this is the first knowledge, the 5 knowledges in this science. We'll go to it, inshallah, in the future lessons. But now I'm just going to go through it quickly. Second one is the science of understanding indications, understanding signals or indications in and around us, of what are warnings and what are good news. Okay, and to be able to identify where are the fortresses, right, where you can find security in the end of times. The third knowledge is the knowledge of developments and discoveries and inventions. Okay, right, and also the knowledge of new culture, right, in human society, right, and also knowing, right, positive from negative inventions, right, in society. There's is the third sign. The fourth sign is the signs that are in the universe, because there will be, major changes that is cosmic, right? So it's in the universe itself, right? So in the sun, in the moon, right? In forms of earthquakes and eclipses and so on. It's also a study of the end of times, the things beyond human control. Like it will happen, right? And also natural disasters, right? They will become more and more frequent, with huge numbers of death, right? With these natural disasters. The last one is a science of connecting the Sharia or the religion with what happens in history, right? So there are five knowledges, of this knowledge, and Habib has compartmentalized all of his hadith into these five knowledges. And from there, when you study them, right, you know what you're looking for, what you're looking at, then you know the solution. So I hope it's coming together for everybody. How he has really so, ingeniously, so ingenious of him, of how Habib has constructed this and arranged this, yani, and structured it in a way that you can study, and when you can study in a such a way, you can apply. That's the whole point, the application. Okay, so inshallah it will come soon, inshallah, and inshallah may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala show us truth as truth and allow us to follow it, and show us evil as evil, and allow us to stay away from it. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us clarity in these last days of time, in this end of time, these last days, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala place in our heart, I just place in our heart a feeling that when we see shar, we know it's shar. When we see evil, we know it's evil. When we see goodness, we know it's goodness. May this be, innate in us, in our children, that straight away you turn away from what is evil, and you run towards what is goodness. Right? Subhanallah. Right, wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam, walhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. So we're right now here, it also addresses. Okay, so can someone just tell me where I stop? Okay, it also addresses. Tamam. Okay, وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين. الفاتحة. أن الله رزقنا منافعا والعمل خالصا للخلص وذل وسلم وسلم أرواح معالمنا ومشايخنا وذوي الحقوق علينا وإلى حضرة النبي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. الفاتحة. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والعصر. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين. آمين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.